Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Mother's Health podcast. And this is an introduction to our podcast. Our Mother's Health podcast is a weekly narrative and interview based podcast that brings global attention to the silent epidemic of maternal mortality. It's hosted by myself, Dr. Vivian Chinwa. I'm a maternal health advocate, I'm a healthcare leader, a global health educator, and a researcher. Each episode will shed light or will spotlight true stories of mothers who have died or nearly died from preventable pregnancy-related causes through powerful storytelling, expert interviews, and cultural insight. The podcast explores how race, class, tradition, gender norms influences maternal outcome, especially in low-income countries. But the Western societies and the Western nations are not also excluded from some of the high rate of death we have seen among the Black and minority community. Our key themes will include cultural rituals and harmful birth practices, gender inequality and male gatekeeping, lack of emergency obstetric care, racism in health systems, innovation that save mothers' life. Every week, I'll be putting up some podcasts, weekly podcasts, 30 to 45 minutes of podcasts, which includes real-life maternal death stories, expert commentary. It will be available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all major platforms like the Podbean. Now, who should listen to this podcast? Global health professionals are welcome to listen to this podcast and engage with myself. Midwives, community birth workers, NGOs, maternal health advocates, policymakers, medical educators, students, and the general public, which includes women, most especially of childbearing age. Why does it matter? Why am I doing this? One of the reasons why I'm doing this is because of the global statistics that shows that every day over 800 women die from causes related to pregnancy and childbirth, and most of them are completely preventable. Every 2 minutes, a woman dies from pregnancy or childbirth complications. In 2020, 287,000 maternal deaths were seen globally. 95% of this death occurred in low and middle income countries. So this is not just about the numbers. This is about our sisters, our mothers, our friends, our families. This podcast is not just about raising awareness. It's about shifting policies, changing behavior, and honoring the lives behind the statistics. The top causes of death includes postpartum hemorrhage, pre-eclampsia and eclampsia, sepsis, unsafe abortions. These are really pressing and concerning situations to see our women die. In 2023, the statistics wasn't any better. 260,000 deaths, although there were some significant improvement, but a large number of women are still dying due to preventable causes of death, especially in Nigeria, in Congo, and in many South Asian countries. This is unacceptable. The podcast will bring enlightenment to the problem and also solutions to the problem by engaging in conversation and pushing for policies and change in the way maternal care is being delivered, especially in low-income countries. It supports the Sustainable Development Goal, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 3.1 target to reduce the global maternal mortality ratio to 70 per 100,000 live births by 2030. Currently, in many countries like Nigeria and South Asian countries, India, many sub-Saharan countries, the mortality ratio is almost 600 per every 100,000 live births. So how do we achieve 70 per 100,000 live births? Drastic strategic measures are needed. I'd like to use this opportunity to welcome you all to this podcast, which is going to be very engaging and interactive. My email is Our Mother's Health, OMH, podcast 2025@gmail.com. Please send me an email. Connect with me on our social media platforms, which will be coming every Friday. I'll be posting weekly podcasts. So please engage with our podcast. Every Friday, starting this coming Friday, the first episode is going to be airing. We're going to be talking about why mothers are dying in 2025. I will set the stage for more discussion on maternal mortality. And I'll be inviting lots of experts in this area to come and have that discussion on the podcast. I thank you very much for listening to the podcast today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please visit our page for our first episode this week. Thank you very much for listening and have a good day. Bye-bye.